Several headlines at one time waiting on the president there in Phoenix, Arizona. The door to Air Force One is now open. Meanwhile, from the White House, there are significant headlines moving right now. I'm going to get to John Roberts on the North Lawn and talk about, number one, the task force apparently winding down. John, what did you find out about this?
Just came out of a meeting in the vice president's office just a short time ago. The vice president was there along with Dr. Deborah Birx, Alex Azar, the HHS secretary, Dr. Stephen Hahn, who's the FDA commissioner, Admiral Giroir with HHS, who's in charge of getting a lot of equipment where it's supposed to be. Seema Verma, who is the administrator of CMS Medicare and Medicaid services, was there as well. The big headline really didn't come out of the briefing. They were talking a lot about vaccine development and sort of this almost Manhattan project to get 100 million doses in place by this fall, which is ambitious, but they are saying it could possibly be done. But then the headline popped, and we asked the vice president about it regarding the coronavirus task force winding down sometime within the next month. The vice president did confirm that they've been having preliminary discussions about that. He hopes that sometime around Memorial Day or maybe the beginning of June, they can begin to wind down the task force and begin to hand the work that the task force was doing over to the various agencies. FEMA, HHS, obviously would take the lead in all of this. We asked what would happen to Dr. Deborah Birx. Would she still be around? The vice president promised that she's probably the most valuable member of the team and that she would continue to play a role in going ahead and fighting the coronavirus. But this all coming, Bill, as new projections show that the decline in new infections and decline in deaths isn't as quick as it had believed to be earlier, and that this may drag out through the entire summer.
John, also there's something crossing now about a whistleblower who apparently said there was some sort of threat about hydroxychloroquine when he was when there was some advice to use it, and others said not so fast. What are you hearing about that right now, John? Just crossing now.
This is the former deputy secretary for HHS, Dr. Rick Bright. He was in charge of something called BARDA, and that's the Biomedical Advanced Research Division of HHS. He was basically the head of vaccine development at HHS. He contends in a whistleblower complaint that was just filed, and I just left a conference call about it to come out here and talk to everyone about it, Bill. He alleges in a complaint that he was transferred from his very prominent position as the head of BARDA over to a less prominent position at NIH dealing with diagnostics because he was at odds with the program that the White House was pushing, and that was to develop hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin as treatments for coronavirus disease, whereas he thought that the billions of dollars that were being thrown at the problem should go into what he called proven medical technologies and pharmaceuticals. He is also alleging in this whistleblower complaint that HHS was ignoring things with solid scientific evidence behind them and engaging in what he claims was cronyism among people who were politically connected. So they're just getting to that part of the complaint there in that conference call. I'll go back and listen to more of it and bring that to you
John,
after I get it.
Thank you so much for that. For the update, John Roberts, North Lawn. Thank you, sir.